Picture a mammoth. 12 feet tall. 8 tons of muscle and tusk. Now picture yourself standing in front of it with nothing but a sharpened stick. You would not win that fight. Not with strength. Not with speed. Not with teeth or claws, because you don't have any that matter. So how did your ancestors kill animals 10 times their size, again and again, for hundreds of thousands of years? The answer is not what you think. You weren't built to fight these animals. You were built to outlast them. Start with your body. It's a strange machine, if you really look at it. No fur to speak of. Skin covered in millions of sweat glands. Legs built for long, steady strides rather than explosive bursts. Compare that to a lion, or a wolf, or a bison, and you start to notice something odd. You are, by predator standards, almost pathetically slow. A cheetah can hit 70 miles an hour. A pronghorn antelope can run for miles at a pace that would kill a human heart. You can't outrun any of them. Not over a short distance. But give it time. Give it hours. And something changes. Biologist David Carrier at the University of Utah spent years studying why humans evolved this unusual endurance. His research points to something almost every other land mammal lacks: the ability to sweat efficiently while breathing freely at the same time. A running dog has to pant to cool down, and panting and running compete for the same breath. A running antelope overheats fast and has to stop, again and again, to cool off. You don't. You can run and sweat and breathe, all at once, 4 hours. That single advantage changes everything. Because heat, not speed, is the real weapon. This strategy has a name. Persistence hunting. Chase an animal, not to catch it in a sprint, but to keep it moving until its body temperature climbs past the point of survival. No cover to rest in. No shade. Just a small, upright, sweating creature that refuses to stop following. Anthropologist Louis Liebenberg documented this hunting method among trackers in the Kalahari Desert. Watching men run down kudu and eland over blistering afternoons. Sometimes for 5 or 6 hours straight. Until the animal collapsed from heatstroke, unable to run another step. No spear needed at that point. Just a knife, and patience that had already done the real killing. But endurance alone doesn't explain a mammoth. You cannot run a mammoth into heatstroke and calmly walk up to it. Something else was required. Something sharper. Cooperation. Killing something enormous is almost never a solo act. It's a coordinated one. Groups of hunters working in sync, each person playing a specific role. Communicating through gesture and glance. And shared understanding built over years of hunting together. One group drives the animal. Another waits in ambush. Someone reads the wind, the tracks, the terrain. Deciding exactly where the animal will be forced to go. Paleoanthropologist Henry Bunn, examining bone evidence from sites in East Africa, found signs that early humans were bringing down large game far earlier than many scientists once assumed. Using coordinated tactics rather than pure scavenging. That distinction matters. Scavenging is opportunistic. Hunting an elephant-sized animal on purpose requires planning. It requires a plan B when plan A fails. It requires trust in the person standing next to you with a spear. And there's the tool itself. A sharpened wooden point doesn't sound like much against 8 tons of animal. But a spear was never meant to be a single fatal blow. It was meant to wound. To weaken. To open a path for infection, blood loss, exhaustion. Thrown from a safe distance, sometimes with the help of a spear thrower that added leverage and range. It let a small group inflict damage without ever getting close enough to be trampled. Layer that onto persistence hunting, and you get something devastating. An animal already running for hours, heart pounding, body overheating. Now bleeding from multiple wounds it can't shake off. It doesn't need to be killed outright. It just needs to be pushed past the point where its body can keep going. Here's the part that should surprise you. None of this required superior strength. It required superior information. Harvard researcher Daniel Lieberman, who has spent decades studying the evolution of the human body for endurance, argues that what made early humans exceptional hunters wasn't raw power at all. It was the combination of a body built for distance and a brain built for prediction. Knowing where an animal would go before it went there. Reading a hoofprint and knowing not just what species left it, but how fast it was moving, how recently, whether it was injured or afraid. That kind of tracking is not instinct. It's closer to detective work, passed down and refined across generations, tested against real consequences. Guess wrong about where the herd went, and your children go hungry. Guess right, again and again, and that knowledge becomes the most valuable inheritance a family can pass on. More valuable than any weapon. So the mammoth never stood a chance, not because it was weak, but because it was fighting the wrong battle. It was built to survive claws and jaws and sudden violence. It was not built to survive a species that could think 3 days ahead. That could coordinate across a dozen individuals without speaking a word. That could simply refuse to stop. Now think about what that means for you. Sitting here, thousands of years removed from any of this. You still carry that same machinery. The same body that can outlast a horse over long distances. The same brain wired to notice patterns, to predict, to plan several steps ahead before acting. You don't hunt mammoths anymore. But watch yourself the next time you're working towards something difficult. A deadline. A goal that takes months, not minutes. Notice how your mind reaches, almost automatically, for a plan. For a sequence. For an understanding of where the obstacle will be, not just where it is right now. That instinct wasn't built for spreadsheets or marathons or long projects. It was built in open grassland, chasing something enormous under a merciless sun. Trusting the people running beside you to do their part. The mammoth is gone. The instinct never left. So picture yourself again, standing in front of something 12 feet tall and impossibly strong. Only this time, remember what your ancestors already knew. You were never meant to overpower it. You were built to outlast it.